Hi everyone, we are from Syndicate Group 6 and welcome to our video presentation. Within the group, we have Guntur Putra Pratama, Maruli Tyson Sianipar, Anggi Stefani Ferdiana, Rico Milza, Agung Mahendra, Denish Ariesmendi, dan Effendi. We are going to talk about scenario planning of Kawan Lama Group. What is Kawan Lama? To know more about Kawan Lama, we can watch this short video.
Keluarga itu banyak macamnya. Ada yang baru memulai, ada yang sudah sepanjang usia, ada yang hari-harinya ditemani anak-anak lucu, ada yang diwarnai oleh anak-anak bulu. Ada keluarga yang sejak lahir, ada yang dipertemukan takdir, ada yang hidupnya sederhana, ada yang penuh warna. Keluarga juga bisa dimulai dari duduk semeja walau beda selera. Bagi kami, keluarga punya banyak makna. Keluarga itu tempat awal sekaligus tempat kita pulang. Keluarga itu segalanya. Begitu juga dengan Kawan Lama Group yang berdiri dari sebuah usaha keluarga yang sederhana. Berawal di obrolan santai pada tahun 1955, Bapak Wong Jin terinspirasi untuk membangun Kawan Lama Group. Baginya, sukses adalah bisa memberikan hidup yang lebih baik untuk keluarga, juga melayani klien dan kolega layaknya keluarga. Semangat itu menjadi nilai utama kami hingga sekarang. Karenanya kami konsisten untuk menerapkan 8 aspek penting, yaitu innovative, accountable, mastery, excellence, leadership, integrity, teamwork, enthusiasm. Semangat yang sama menggerakkan kami untuk siap beradaptasi pada setiap perubahan dan mengikuti perkembangan zaman demi pelayanan yang lebih baik. Dengan pendekatan human-centric, kami terus tumbuh menyambut anggota keluarga baru yang selalu kompak saat bekerja dan hangat saat bersuka cita. Dan dengan berbagai pilar bisnis yang kami miliki, kami selalu ingin memahami serta melayani keluarga Indonesia. Agar menemukan kenyamanan, merasakan pengalaman tak terlupakan, mencicipi berbagai rasa, menghadirkan keceriaan, menghidupkan harapan, dan menciptakan cerita bersama keluarga. Kami terus berusaha memberikan yang lebih bagi keluarga Indonesia dengan menghadirkan berbagai merek terbaik. Karena kesuksesan bagi kami bukan hanya grafik angka yang meningkat, tapi juga kebahagiaan seluruh keluarga Kawan Lama Group. Dengan begitu, yang dulu berawal di kios 3x3, kini kami memiliki lebih dari 1.000 toko yang tersebar di lebih dari 50 kota di Indonesia. Dan untuk menjaga ketersediaan produk di seluruh area, kami juga telah membangun lebih dari 10 pusat distribusi dengan luas hingga 240.000 meter persegi dengan sistem yang modern. Didukung armada yang siap mengantar semua produk sampai ke tangan konsumen. Bersama lebih dari 40.000 karyawan, kami siap menjalankan program berkelanjutan untuk melayani lebih dari 270 juta masyarakat Indonesia. Karena Kawan Lama Group lebih dari bisnis keluarga, tapi juga bisnis untuk keluarga. Dengan memahami keluarga Indonesia, kami memberikan nilai untuk kehidupan yang lebih baik. Kawan Lama Group, bring value for a better life.
Kawan Lama Group established in 1955 and consists of 6 business pillars: commercial and industrial, consumer retail, food and beverage, property and hospitality, commercial technology, and manufacturing and engineering. Kawan Lama Group constantly grow their business, which now consists of 28 brands, 11 distribution centers, and more than 1,000 stores nationwide. We can see their existing ecosystem internally, from commercial and industrial to the manufacturing and engineering. And here we can see their existing ecosystem externally, from Angkasa Pura II to the Summit Kelapa Gading. Their value proposition is to deliver the ecosystem of retail, industrial, F&B, services, property, and e-commerce. Their customer segments are retail and B2B. Their customer relationship, they do advertising and promotions. Their channels are store, website, mobile apps, and social media. The key activities are operationals, staff, engineer, and management. The key resources are office, warehouse, studio, and car. Their key partners are distributors and third-party vendors. Who is the user and what is the key focal issues? This is part 2. Stage 1, the orientations. The users are existing subsidiaries under Kawan Lama Group, including their existing customers and potential new customers. Their key focal issues, scope, and time, that should Kawan Lama enter the digital banking business in the next 5 years to accelerate ecosystem's business growth.
Thanks Agung for explaining about Kawan Lama Group company profile, including the users and the focal issue that we are going to solve by scenario planning. Hello everyone, my name is Maruli Tyson, and I will continue the discussion for the stage 2 exploration to demonstrate our research result on the contextual environment, driving forces, and critical uncertainties from the driving forces itself. There are 2 approaches that we can use for stage 2 exploration, either by deductive or inductive approach. But in our case, we decided to use deductive approach, where the step is started by investigate contextual environment, identification of driving forces, choosing the 2 critical uncertainties, and finally, based on that, we can construct 4 scenarios planning for Kawan Lama Group, adapting with the uncertainties in the futures. We use pastel method for doing research on the contextual environment identification. As you can see in the right table, those are the factors for each aspect of the pastel. First, for political, we identified 2 factors such as political stability and government regulation. Next, for economic itself, we identified 2 factors, financial inclusion and economic stability. Next, for social aspect, we identified 3 aspects such as Indonesia demographic bonus, cashless society, customer response. Next, for technological, we identified internet penetration, smartphone users, and the digital transformation era. Next, for ethical, we identify about data privacy. And the last one, for the legal itself, we identify the law enforcement factor. After investigating the contextual environment, we are going to continue to the next stage to identify the driving forces and map it into 3 parts as shown in the visualization in the right side, which are the contextual, the transactional, and the organization. All the factors we identified using pastel method in the previous slide already mapped into the contextual section in the graph here. Then we continue to identify what is the driving forces for the transactional section, which are customer response based on the customer behavior, the securities factors of doing the transactions, as well as the factors coming from the other merchant as Kawan Lama Group competitors. Finally, we identify the critical forces coming from internal Kawan Lama Group are growth ambition and the capital that is going to be invested for the aggressive new business initiative creating the digital banking. The last step is to assess 2 critical uncertainties that we can use as our main consideration on defining the scenario planning. As we identified all the contextual environment using the pastel method earlier, now we will map all the identified factors in regards to the impact and the uncertainty level. Based on our syndicate discussion, the very less impact and uncertainty are factors such as cashless society, internet penetration, and law enforcement. While for the Indonesian demographic bonus, position in the least impact but highly uncertainty level. Then, Move to the middle impact level started from the below, where government regulation is the least uncertain, then followed by the digital transformation and political stability with the higher uncertainty level. Then move to the below right side, where the impact is high but the uncertainty level is low. We can find factors such as smartphone users, data privacy, and the financial inclusion. Lastly, our main focus where the impact and the uncertainty level are significantly high in the upper right corner, such as the economic stability and the customer response.
So now, from the previous sections, we know that there are two factors that have highest degree of critical uncertainties, and we believe these will impact the scenario of expanding digital banking in Kawan Lama Group. So those uncertainties are economic stability and customer response. On these sections, we develop different scenarios by using those critical uncertainties. We try to map those two driving forces in 2x2 matrix, where the horizontal axis belongs to the economic, and on your right hand side it tells us about the economic that is more stable, and then on the left hand side it is more volatile economic situations. The vertical axis will tell us about the customer response. The higher means more positive, and then the lower means negative. So let's see the characteristics of each of the scenarios. The first scenario is when we have stable economic and at the same time the customer also shows a positive response. This situation is very ideal for an emerging business to enter the market and actually grow. Usually, customer has an appetite to adopt new solutions as long as it brings benefit for them. That's why we'll see that there will be faster customer acquisitions. Yet on the other hand, there will be more competitors as it gives more promising opportunity for a new player in the digital banking. When we go to the left, we have more volatile economic situations, but actually the customer response is more positive. So this scenario tend to produce non-productive customer. And even though the customer responds positively, but the overall business might be at stake due to the economic situations. Although in the initial stage, the customer response is positive, but down the line, it might develop fearness on the digital banking or digital investment, especially given the economic volatility. But on the other hand, Kawan Lama Group could also see more customers acquisitions, especially with more attractive investment offering, as well as the loan services. Moving to the bottom left, where we have worst scenario, the unstable economic and also the negative customer response. The first characters of this scenario is definitely low customer acquisitions, and even worse, losing the existing customer, which it will eventually shrinking the market size, of course. As the situation is getting worse, the performance of the company will definitely be impacted, and subsequently it will affect the company brand. There will be sunk costs for any unproductive investment in Kawan Lama, and also the customer behaviors and perceptions on digital banking will definitely shifted as they don't see any value of using these services. Last but not least, the bottom right scenario, where we have more stable economy, but at the same time we have negative or stagnant customer response. This tells us that the business model might not be suitable for the customers. So in these situations, Kawan Lama will stuck with their existing customers, which means slow growth. With this situation also, Kawan Lama should start to think about what are the alternative business models that they should develop, and of course more attractive for the customers so that they can adopt that. Or Kawan Lama could also think about how they want to collaborate with the other market leader in order to develop more attractive solution for their customers.
Okay, let's talk about scenario options consideration. What if the economic growth stable and the customer response also positive? The implications are there will be possibility becoming international payment method, and then there will be offer for merger or acquisition with other similar services. The options available are there will be a collaboration with overseas business, and then they seek out company that would offer possibility of expanding existing ecosystem. What if the economic growth stable and the customer response are negative or stagnant? The implications are there will be no significant improvement of customer or user. There will be customer saturation with the common business model in the industry, and then there will be a domination of market leader in that industry. The options available are the innovation needs to attract more user or customer, and they need to try new model and unique value proposition and offer it to the customer, and then even they need to collaborate with the other existing player in the industry. In the opposite side, what if the economic grow volatile and the customer response is positive? The implications are there will be a non-performing loan in the industry, and then the debitor will retrieve the money and they save it the safest investment tool available, and then there will be a cash flow problem to the industry, and then there will be drop in non-earning asset. The options available in these conditions are the loan restructuring for NPL, and they need to add digital safe investment tool as new product, and they need to add a business loan, and then add more new services. The extreme condition is the economic grow volatile and the customer response also negative or stagnant. The implications are the company will running on loss, and then there will be possibility of going bankrupt. And then the options available are they need to sell the company asset, and they need to restructure the employee.
Yes, now we move to scenario narrative, where we would like to describe more of future possibility for Kawan Lama Group. Now we see that there is 4 elements to infinity and beyond: bandwagoning, a bit to grow, and another bite to dust. From the to infinity and beyond scenario, with good economic climate where government encouraging digital transformation and growing customer trend toward adopting the fintech, Kawan Lama Group sees the opportunity to create a new digital bank that provide end-to-end services as a way to give more for their customer while expanding its business ecosystem. Continue to the second scenario, bandwagoning, where there is a negative customer response with a growing economic condition. Kawan Lama, with the economy keep growing and stable, but there's too much similar player with same value proposition. Kawan Lama stuck in the middle of competition, and the market leader already dominating the competition. For the third narratives, there is a bit to grow. With the condition, there is positive customer response, but with unstable economic condition. Despite economic volatility, Kawan Lama tried to provide and ensure stable and safe transaction by providing pay later to existing customer and for any transaction in the group, and also safe digital investment choice like e-gold during these uncertain times for the customer. And the last one is the another bite the dust, with the condition a negative customer response with unstable economic condition, where Kawan Lama Group create a new digital bank, but the market response isn't as expected to the economic instability. Followed also with the low customer response, make it harder for Kawan Lama Group to promote their product and getting less attention for potential customer who prefer to keep their money with other conventional financial instruments.
Finally, we talk about the early warning signs for the 4 different scenarios. If the economic is stable or grow, and then the customer response is also positive and also growing, in the infinity and beyond scenarios, we will have shifting trend toward new technology available, And then it also create high demand, result in more strict regulations. And when we see that the economic is not quite stable or volatile, while the customer response is positive, we come to the bid to grow scenarios, and there will be some competitions, of course, with the big capital player like Genius and others bank. Many non-performing loans create cash flow problems because this due to the economic situations. We have liquidity issues, and then new customer demanding new loan, and then the service availability is also very high, but it's quite unproductive. For the growing economy or stable economy, but due to the negative impact of customer response, there will be no significant new user in a certain period of time. Of course, it then create a market share of kawan lama stuck below 5%, and then one big player dominating the market and more than 20 share the rest. Profitability keep in low number and tend to lose in certain period. That's in the bandwagoning scenarios. Last, when we talk about the scenarios when the economic stability is volatile and then the customer response is negative, there will be customer acquisitions that having very high cost. We are also having high churn rate. Market share is extremely very low because of this customer response very negative. Too many non-performing loans due to the economic stability. And the number of customer growth isn't expected as in the business projection because of this, again, comeback from the customer response of negative response, and then finally decreasing or stagnant trend in the revenue. I think that's all from our group. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.